need to do is go to VIEISME.com, VISME.com, and that's where you will find everything about Memoirs of a Forgotten Child and also what I've been up to. I do daily blogs, so it would be in the blog section. I also do YouTube videos, so it would be in the YouTube videos. And for the book, you can either go to the book, which details what's inside the book and the reason of it coming into existence. And if you already know all that because you watched all my YouTube videos, then you go to the store tab. And at the store tab is the back cover and the front cover together. And you would just click. The miniature version of the book, and then you would get to the book page, and then you would get to the cart, and all you gotta do is click add cart and proceed from there.
So this video will be about my opinions on the father who cut the hands off of a teenage boy who raped his 7-month-old daughter. I'll link the article below so you can check it out for yourself. And if you're not going to read it, I might as well just tell you in the video what it was about. So there's this man from India, and he was in court with the 17-year-old rapist, and the court found that there wasn't enough evidence to convict the 17-year-old of raping his 7-month-old daughter, in which the father felt, devastated. That's his child. His child was taken advantage of by this almost grown person. And the father was willing to take some type of compensation or some type of atonement for his deeds. But the teenager was basically able to, ride off into the sunset scot-free. And the father wasn't happy about that decision. So he took it into his own hands and took the teenager, tied him up to a tree, and cut off his hands. The father said that he wasn't really going to go to that extent. He was willing to not let it go, but take some type of reparation, some type of sorry, some type of, admission of guilt and trying to repair what he has done. But because the courts found that there was a lack of evidence, and because the teenager basically didn't have to admit to anything, the guilt and the anger and the frustration built up where the father thought it was okay to tie the 17-year-old and cut off his hands. After he cut off the 17-year-old's hand, he left the teenager for dead essentially and rode off on his bicycle. It wasn't until other people in the neighborhood found the 17-year-old tied to a tree and tried to untie him, that's when they found out the story. This is my views on it. Though I feel like no one should be putting hands on anybody, I don't feel like anybody should be hurting anybody. I'm the type of person who's not for, let's say, the electric chair or anything of that sort. However, I feel like when you do someone wrong, you cannot determine the punishment. And I actually said that on Facebook. When you do the crime, you cannot determine the punishment. How you get it is how you get it. Karma is very real, and he got his karma. I'm not saying the 17-year-old did rape the 7-month-old, because I wasn't there and I have not seen the evidence. However, if it is true he did rape the 7-month-old, you get what you get. In some countries, they would just kill him off bat. And this says a lot about the society that we live in, where we tend to prey on people who are younger, more weaker, people who we know won't fight back. He's a 17-year-old male. In the United States, one more year, he would have been an adult. What are you doing looking at a 7-month-old in a sexual manner? It's a 7-month-old. There's nothing developed. There's nothing sexually arousing, but he felt that it was okay to attack a 7-month-old. And I said kudos to the father, because I don't know what I would have done. I don't have any kids. So if anybody were to ever do something like that to my daughter, I can't tell you that I would have just been like, oh, that's the judgment. I'm hurt by it, but it is what it is. I might be like the father. I might chop up every limb on this person's body. I don't know, and I wouldn't want to know. But what I am saying is, we as a society need to really look at what's going on, because we tend to be over sexual, and then in some parts of the world like India, and we tend to be totally asexual, where we're not in touch with our sexuality. Now, I'm not saying let your freak flag fly and do all types of freaky stuff, but what I am saying is you cannot act like you have no sexual nature and then repress all those sexual desires, and now you're over here raping 7-month-old. But then again, I don't agree that you should just let your freak flag fly and have no regards or no type of respect for anybody, whether it's a child, whether it's a baby, whether it's an adult, whoever, and you just show yourself in a very sexual manner. I think in different societies it's different manners. I know that in India it's very reserved. There is standards when it comes to sex, and there isn't something like in the United States where you just have sex with whomever and it's very casual. In other countries like India, and I know that they don't do that. You know, there's arranged marriages. There's a certain way that you carry yourself. You can't be too forward. However, that leads to people being very sexually frustrated. And I'm not saying it's because of India's policies and society. That's why a 17-year-old male was able to rape a 7-month-old. What I am saying is that once you repress something, it's going to show in other avenues. It's not just going to disappear. It's just going to show up in other forms. For example, like if you are angry all the time, you may be able to conceal your anger in front of certain people, but now you may drink. Now you may get into reckless behavior. Now you may be stealing. Whatever it is, once you repress a certain feeling, certain nature, it tends to show itself up in different places. But I'm not excusing the 17-year-old male for doing what he did. I say kudos to the father, because I don't know what I would have done. I may have chopped him off for dead. I don't know if the father is going to face any type of judgment. I don't know if he's going to end up going to court. I don't know if he's going to end up in prison, because he did violate the male. I don't know if they can even reattach his hands or anything. I'm not sure. But I mean, if they can, I'm not crying for him. If he ends up having no hands and he needs prosthetics, I'm not going to cry for him. I don't know. But let me know in the comments below what you think. Do you agree with the father? Would you have done the same thing? Would you have done anything different? What do you think about the story? How do you feel about the 17-year-old? Do you have any type of sympathy for him? Because I'm going to tell you for this. Once you have been sexually violated, your whole life turns upside down. Like, you will never be the same. You will never have your innocence again. And to be a baby, I don't know. Like, I just don't know if a baby can even process that, if a baby understands. Because that male, a fully grown, almost fully grown man, could do real damage to a 7-month-old. I mean, the 7-month-old is going to grow up into an adult. You're going to have to explain why certain things and certain functions don't work as correctly as with a normal adult. How do you explain to your 17-year-old daughter when she becomes 17, you know, I know that everybody else has their menstrual cycle, but you can't have your menstrual cycle, or it's kind of spotty because this 17-year-old male, when you were 7-month-old, raped you. Like, how do you even have such a conversation? Like, you just damaged a person's life because you were on some sick shit. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But tell me, what do you think? Do you think as a society we tend to be over sexual, but then have a schizophrenic mindset where we're like, oh, we're so sheltered, we're so close, we're kind of Amish like that, where we have high morality, we're virgins, we don't do all that extra sexual shit. And then on the flip side, we're all types of freak nasties. But let me know in the comments below. And as always, be blessed, and I am